All right, here we go.
Here we go.
About time.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it. We've everyone's been asking us.
Right.
Uh,
When's
the
the
podcast
podcast?
dropping? Y'all should do a
Yeah,
podcast.
man. Let's put those conversations out there. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Yeah, it's finally time to pull the trigger on this.
So in
thing.
case y'all ain't noticed, here it is, guys. The Chicano Boulevard podcast. I'm right here with Mr. Freedom and Funk. You already know Mr. Simmer Down. We're gonna start this off with a toast.
Hell yeah, man.
Toast
Cheers,
with
brother.
the Chicano Boulevard Lager.
Man.
Shout out Bad Astronaut.
Funky Solistic.
Y'all
Cheers,
hit them
brother.
up. Y'all get y'all some Funky Solistic from Bad Astronaut. Here we go, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's good, man.
I swear that's a great beer.
But yeah, man. I think it's great that we're doing this. We could sit here. We've been on podcasts. We could sit here and tell the story of us, of you and I, of how it started. But I think we should get right into it. You know what I'm saying? This is a podcast. Let's open up the discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The
Topics,
Topics,
you know,
right?
and
Let's hit them.
And one thing I was thinking, like, hey, man, playing off of Chicano Boulevard, we started off as we started Chicano Boulevard to preserve culture, right?
Yeah, for sure.
To preserve Chicano culture.
Yeah.
So let that be the topic of discussion. Culture.
Sounds good to me.
And
man.
why is it important to preserve culture, celebrate culture?
Man, that's
You know
a
what I'm
great
saying?
fucking topic. I'll tell you that.
I can say this, before Chicano Boulevard, there was culture in Houston. There's a lot of Chicano
for
culture.
Sure, yeah.
But I just think it wasn't under one umbrella. You know what I'm saying? It was spread out everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could be doing a Chicano culture DJ night over here, and there's a car show over there, and we wouldn't intermix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more on the lines of like once a year I'd get together with Willie, my brother, and we do Los Alacranes, and that's where
The Pachuco nights, right?
that's where the Pachuco night, right? That's where
Yeah.
everybody would come under that, and we'd celebrate. There'd be the cars, the dress, the food, the music, but that was once a year,
Yeah, I think this it started to get like that everywhere, for long stretches of time, right? Where like everybody was just like in survival mode outside of what they would normally do, right? So like, yeah, they'll get together for these events or whatever, but aside from that, you're just in survival mode, working here, working there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're really having to just take a time out to go back to revisit these times with your culture. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Now that in current times, it's a lot different. You know what I mean? We're really being able to see kids go to school dressed like that. You know what I mean? It's pumping a little bit more fluidly nowadays, which is cool as shit.
Yeah, and the whole point of Chicano Boulevard, was to celebrate culture. This was, thought out during COVID. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
How are we gonna
COVID,
do
man.
this? Being shut down. How are we gonna come back and preserve the culture? Chicano Boulevard, right? But this goes to what the topic is, right? Culture, right? We are Chicanos. You and I are Chicanos, right?
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
every brown person is Chicano, and that's totally okay, right?
Yeah.
But we come from different cultures. We look just like the guy from south of the border. We look like the guy from New York or California or Miami.
Yeah.
But we all come from different cultures. You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
So I think, in the brown community, that's one problem we have where like people say, all brown people need to unite. But you're uniting so many different cultures. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People that they didn't grow up like that or they don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I always thought was like, a problem in the brown community, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna keep it real. We're here talking. I've been judged a lot, by my own brown people. You know what I'm saying? I've always felt like a lot of times they told me like you're not one of us. You know what I'm saying? Just because I was born here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because I don't speak the best Spanish. You know what I'm saying? And that has to do with culture. You know what I mean? And it's just always how is this ever gonna get fixed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of layers into that, you know what I'm saying? But I will say this when it comes to that, that cultural aspect of it, right? It's crazy because I think a lot of times people can still consider this thing Chicano, right? Like, oh yeah, it's just these Mexican American dudes, or you know what I mean, these people who, you know, yeah, they're just removed, and we like to be removed from whatever our motherland is, and you know, we're just trying to embrace American culture, but it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're being whitewashed because you grew up over here, but realistically, you know, I think as times have progressed, the word Chicano, you know, can to me means that you can, you know, people can identify that whether they're Mexican American or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether they're Mexicano or not. Like take example, like a lot of Puerto Ricans, right? They're what is I think Chicano is like, what is your relationship to your motherland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really where it comes into play, right? Like, yeah, I can go to Mexico, but what the fuck? Like, I can't speak of Spanish, you know what I mean? They're gonna be like, oh yeah,
They're gonna say it. No saben. We got a no saben.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And again, growing up in the United States, you know what I mean? They fucking can't stand brown people, especially with, you know, how heated things get with racial tensions now.
And I'll say this though, like I don't think the no sabe kid thing has really been addressed, right? People are just calling people out who don't speak Spanish. They say they're no sabes kid, but right, like, but like people our age. Our parents, they went through a lot. Our grandparents went through a lot here in the States.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even if it was going to fight in World War II and coming home and not having equal opportunity, not having the right to vote, not having the right to sit down in certain restaurants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, down the line, like, yeah, my mom speaks perfect Spanish and English. But, I mean, maybe something happened to where it affected her. You know, because she grew up during the civil rights movement. You know what I mean? So, you know, she would always say in school, my mom always says, if you spoke Spanish, you were going to get whooped.
Up,
if every time you had to check what you were, you had to check white. You know what I mean? And my mom knowing, you know what I'm saying, that she wasn't white. You know what I'm saying? And it was always a thing with her. Like, you know, this is what they did to me as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I tell everybody the same thing, man. Like, I don't speak any of the native languages of my people. You know what I mean? Like, my last name comes from a line of indigenous people, you know, to the Americas, right?
Yeah.
And then of course my mom's side is, you know, indigenous to what is now Mexico and all that stuff. But or I'm sorry, what was once Mexico, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't speak any of those native languages. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's that whole topic of conversation too, right? Like, as indigenous people, are we going to fight colonization, and how far are you willing to go? You know what I mean? Because Spanish is not
both English and Spanish are both European languages that were forced upon us. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it real.
You know, and yes, we're in 2023, and yeah, nobody's going back to these native languages, but don't just wipe them under the table like they didn't exist, right? Like, we're here.
Or don't just tell us, hey man, you know, forget all that. That's the past. No, bro. If we want to tap into that and dig deep, we should be able to. You know what I mean? Without being judged, without being, you know, talked down on. You know,
I mean, European history is being stood upon. You know what I mean? Nobody's trying to wipe out European history, right? Like, nobody's saying, hey, well, no, just get over it. Well, because even the motherfuckers that were, you know, going out there and fucking shit up, you know. So, but but that's not, you know, but that's okay. Like, we'll teach that to the kids. That's cool, you know. Fucking the hope story, you know. Fuck all that. You know what I mean? We were here. Our people were here.
Yeah.
You know, I was this one guy doing, you know, it was one of the reels on Instagram or whatever. But the guy was talking about, you know, that there's no other. You know, these are our people. Mm-hmm. You know, Mexicans, Mexican Americans. You know what I mean? This is our land. Like, you know what I mean? We were here before anybody else.
It's like they say, like, that border doesn't erase DNA. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Our DNA is to this land, right? And when people hear the word Chicano, right, or some people, they think of whitewashed. But no, Chicano to me is awakening of being in touch with your indigenous roots to this land. You know what I mean?
And I agree with that. For sure.
And that's what it is, you know. And I think the big reason why is because, you know, Mexico doesn't want to accept us, and the U.S. doesn't want to accept us. So we reach back further and we say, hey, but you know what? We're all indigenous and we've been here. So regardless of what side wants to claim us, like, this is our land.
This is that's what I'm saying. It's dude, I don't give a shit about the American label or the Mexican label, or, you know what I mean? That's why I like the term Chicano. You know what I mean? That just means my people are from here.
Yeah.
That's it. Would I have to go into anything further?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you tell me that, you know what I mean, your family is from El Salvador, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, cool, bet your family's from over there in El Salvador. If I tell you I'm Chicano, that means from one part of the border to the next, my people are from this land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even my grandma came from Durango up to Texas and then over to California. You know what I mean? So it's like indigenous to these lands, all all across.
Yeah.
You know, North
My
America.
great grandma was a
know?
Kickapoo Indian.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, Kickapoo Indian, and you know, it's just, and one thing I regret as a kid is, you know, as a kid I had older family. My great grandmother, she was still alive, you know, and she passed away in the 90s, and she was like 95 back then. You know what I'm saying? So I could imagine what the knowledge she had if I would have just sat down and just asked her questions about, like, hey, you know, where was your mother from, or, you know, how was it like when you know, during the Mexican Revolution and all this stuff. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm a kid. No one thinks to do that. You know, at least most people. You know what I'm saying?
You know, when it comes to family, you know what I mean, there's a lot of things that I wish I would have, you know, paid more attention to or tried to get a hold of, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got Raiders and Dodgers and shit. You know what I mean? And rowdiness, you know. And
that goes back to you know, talking about family and bringing up Chicano Boulevard, right? Like, there's been a lot of people, well, a few people they say that oh man, but that's Cali culture. You know, y'all are pushing Cali culture. You know, Chicano Boulevard, y'all are pushing California culture. You know, the style of dress, the lowriders, you know, the music. But like, see, the thing is, I really disagree on that, because my first memories are being in a body shop, painting body shop, running around a painting body shop, because my dad would paint lowriders back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, that's a sick ass
so like
right there.
Like, we're talking about before hip hop, right? Houston's a big hip hop city, right?
No, yeah.
And sure. The slabs and all this, and people, you know, we get that. That's our label. You know, we're hip hop town, we're Screwston, and that's dope. But don't tell me that I'm bringing California culture, because this is my culture, my family's culture. You know what I mean? My dad drove a lowrider in the early 80s. My uncles, you know what I'm saying? He worked at a one-stop lowrider shop in like 1981. So this been here as well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think that the problem is that, or I guess the disconnection comes is that, dude, Cali never, you know, like we say, right? Screw culture came in and Chicano culture kind of got, you know, tossed under the rug. You know, in California, they had the luxury of black and brown really intermingling in a way where it just kind of flourished. Yeah. Right? Like everything that the hip hop culture, as it kind of all went hand in hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. You were going to have Dr. Dre, but you could bump Frost and Cypress Hill and all these things in all these communities, you know, black or brown, you know what I mean? And so, like, I think Cali was just able to kind of, you know, Chicano culture is just affluent, you know? Yeah. But that's not to say that it didn't exist anywhere. You know what I mean? Chicanos are everywhere. So, like, you know, we look at Chicanismo as a movement, right? Like, all that shit. Denver, you know, Arizona, New Mexico.
Denver had a big Chicano
movement, you know? Corky Gonzalez and shit. You know what I mean? So, like, Chicanos are everywhere. We're not pushing California culture. We're just pushing Chicano culture. Right? Yeah. I mean, you know, and that's the thing, is that, like, what does it matter where you think it came from? Yeah. Like, is that a bad thing? Right. You know what I mean? Again, we're trying to break these lines. I don't give a shit about how you feel about California. How do you feel about your community? Right. You know what I mean? All those things are superficial and they don't mean shit. Yeah. Come hang out with us. Yeah. And right? For me, you can tell me fuck the Dodgers all day, every day. Okay, cool. We'll banter back and forth. And I do. Right? But like,
go Astros. Let's go.
But I'll be damned if you hang out at Chicano Boulevard event where we're spinning and we're having a good time, that you don't fucking have a good time. Right. You know what I mean? Again, like, who gets angry during the funk? You know what I mean? Like, just hang out. Yeah. I don't give a shit if you think it's Cali culture or not. Okay, but is it a bad time?
Right.
Is that a bad thing? We're pushing.
That's where the
community
that's
and
where
unity.
The territorial issue comes in. It's like, when people say, don't California my Texas, but again, Chicano culture is Chicano culture from Texas to California to Denver to Chicago.
All those same, a lot of those same guys don't realize that, like, in the lowrider culture, they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They see a car that comes in from California, they're like, damn, that bitch is bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? California sees a car that comes in from Texas, and they're like, damn, that bitch is bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Yeah. Then it's okay. Well, like, okay. So we're saying that's okay. Like, we're Chicanos. Let's hang out. We might not be able to go do a show in Cali and you bump a whole lot of Tejano and shit.
Right.
But we can do it here,
right.
And you know what I mean. And again, that's Chicano culture, So again, those things, I think when people say those,
there's
types
even
of things,
different cultures within the Chicano community.
Exactly,
right?
You know what I mean. It's just because Chicanos are Chicanos, but there's still subcultures that we see, that we seek out. But it's again, we're not hurting anybody, and we're just trying to push unity the way we're comfortable saying. You know what I mean. Like I've had kids come up to me and be like, "Hey, man, like, thank you because." This is like our own member Jocelyn, right? Like there's these individuals, there's these Chicanos and these Chicanas and this Chicanx and however you identify. There's a bunch of them out there that just never had an outlet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or the outlet seemed like it. They had to go to California to find it, or these other cities to find it. You know what I mean? And that's fucked up because, there was a Chicano history here, and there's been plenty of people that have led that lives in their cities and their towns, whether they're in the loop or outside the loop or whatever. They're still Chicanos, but they all go to work every day, and they put the lifestyle behind them because they feel like they have to bump and grind. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now we're saying, nah, dude, it's cool. Like, come hang out. It's cool. You can dress like that all day, every day. Go be your job, and then go home and be who you are.
And the reason why, a lot of people say, why do y'all dress like that, or why? Because lowrider cars, the style of dress, these are all art forms that were born out of the Chicano culture, right? Like,
man.
Lowriding is an art form of Chicanismo, The style of dress, the pachucos, the zoot suit, that's an art form of Chicanismo, although it started in Harlem, right?
Oh, yeah.
We borrowed it.
Had Callaway and
shit. And again, like, the African-American community, the black community, they play a big role in Chicano culture through the music, what I'm saying? The oldies, the soul music, like, bro.
Man, even from an activist standpoint, man, I was talking to a guy the other night when we did, even at the Cholo Goth gig, right? I was talking to a guy. His dad was a Black Panther. And I was like, dude, that's dope. I was like, man, we still do a lot of work with the Brown Berets, and I was like, that's dope. I didn't get to finish the conversation.
Shout out Brown Berets.
No, yeah, always.
Houston Brown Berets, Willie.
Chicano power.
Let's go.
And but no, yeah. So again, it's just like that's why, like, I tell people with the funk, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's not Chicano, it's black music. Yeah, but I'm like, dude, it's street music. You know what I mean? Where I grew up, Whittier Boulevard, like these are sounds that resonate. I can remember my mom and my sister playing these jams. You know what I mean?
And I mean, since the beginning, we've lived next door.
Of course, man.
Right across the tracks from each other. The barrio's also the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes, there's places where it's predominantly Mexican and predominantly black, but don't tell me there ain't those ones where it's intermixed. You know what I mean? And there's always the Miklo and shit.
Yeah, like my dad.
Shout out Ryan Taylor.
My dad and my uncles. They played soul music as kids, you know what I mean? In the 60s, They had garage soul bands, and there would be, a black dude in the band with them.
I mean, look at War, man. You know what I mean? Like, interracial bands are the shit.
Up until my dad passed away, like, in his living room, because my dad stayed, he stayed in the hood up until he passed away. There'd be a black dude sitting down next to him, white dude, and, 3 Chicanos, and they'd all be, just talking about old stuff in the neighborhood. Yeah. The white dude speaking better Spanish than some of the Chicanos, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man.
I mean, that's just my reality. That's where I grew up, and that's what I could relate to, and that's what I wanted to bring back and push, you know what I mean?
Well, see, but that's a perfect example of what we're saying, right? Like, because I'm here shaking my head and saying what's what, and I agree with you because I grew up the same way. So, yeah, even though I grew up in Los Angeles and in the outskirts of Los Angeles, like, I mean, the Chicano culture is the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just getting the same experiences because, we're a working class indigenous culture from these lands, and we've just been. This is who we are. You know
I
what I
will
mean?
say this though. Let's flip the script real quick. Let's
Now
get
what?
down. Let's get down and
Now
dirty.
what?
All right.
Now what?
From a guy who grew up in California, right? You grew up in Los Angeles. You moved to Houston. You moved back to Los Angeles. You moved back to Houston.
Man,
Don't
forget Las Vegas and San Antonio.
Let's talk about San Antonio and San Antonio. Okay, that's better. Las Vegas, San Antonio. I'm not gonna ask you this, right? I'm not gonna say who has better tacos.
Oh, here we go.
But you know what? I'm gonna ask you that. What's the difference in the tacos, right? Because I have my opinion, but I want your opinion.
Listen, man,
on this.
I'm of the opinion that when it comes to comparing food, there's no comparison, right? Like, might as well just say it, right? In-N-Out and Whataburger, right? Perfect example. There's shit that, yes, I love both of them motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I go to Whataburger at 2 a.m. after I done hit the bar. Yeah, put some jalapenos on that bitch. Yes. It's a totally different restaurant. But, I don't even go to Whataburger for a hamburger. You know what I mean? I get the chicken sandwiches. Man, the chicken sandwiches be hit.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, there's tacos, barbacoa tacos. I mean, come on, dude. You can't even get barbacoa tacos like they do them here in California. Trust me. I've looked many a places. You get barbacoa over there, it's like shredded beef.
Gotcha.
Right? You know what I mean? And then breakfast tacos. You know what I mean? In California, they do breakfast burritos. I like them both. You know what I mean? So it's just, carnitas.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have them in Cali.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's just different places. Trompo, here. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's just...
I'll say this. Like, my wife is from Northern California, right?
Yeah.
I've been to LA several times.
Yeah.
I think there's a time and place for everything. There's some tacos here that are fucking dope as fuck, that hit as fuck, and there's trash tacos.
Of course.
When I went to California, I didn't go with the judgmental mind.
Yeah, you just gotta
I went
go
to partake
open-minded,
in their food culture, right? So I messed up. I went up to a taco stand. I ordered fajitas.
Oh, nah,
and
bro.
the guy that took me, he started laughing. He was like, "Bro, we don't get down like that over here."
Bro.
He ordered
Carne
for me.
asada,
Yeah, he ordered for
carne
me,
asada,
and when he just ordered, like, I took it, I ate it. It was dope. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Like, they say, "Oh, you can't get authentic Mexican tacos in Texas, bro." Like, you can go to Airline, and there's gonna be a Chilango taco stand, Jalisco taco stand, and whatever else,
though,
all on the same block.
Yeah, but I have to say this though. It's different. And I'll tell you, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like when I used to stay with Pelon out in Spring Branch, man, we used to it would just be me and him, right? And we'd go and we'd hit Long Point. And Long Point's badass because there's so many taco spots, dude. And the reason why they stay though is because they're all different.
Right.
They all represent different regions. Like, man, there's this one place that do these like chicken quesadillas. Oh, bro, forget about it. And then there's this other one where it's like a meat market, but they do buche there. Dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like all these different spots. But when you go to Cali, that's what people are always like, "Hey, man, I'm going to LA. Where's the best taco spot? Like, where can I go?" And I'm like, I can't send you to that place because the best places are in the hood. And they're like some dude on the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing a cabeza and shit, and you go and it's badass. But if I send some out of towners to that area, like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling you. It's like the street tacos there are like street and it's hood and it's dangerous but it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a little bit. It's like a tour of Mexico. When you hit the food trucks in Texas. But that's cool. Why is that not?
Yeah.
But see, it's a different
like
different
this
type
person's,
of...
This person still came from Mexico.
Yeah.
So why are they not authentic Mexican tacos?
Yeah, no,
you know
exactly. So it's authentic. It's just a different vibe. It's just a different vibe, you know? But no, man, me and Pelon used to eat fucking great down Long Point, man. It was great
because
tacos.
that person could have easily moved to California and started up that same taco stand, right?
Exactly.
So why is it changed just because they moved to Texas?
It's also that because yes, we can go to the Pulga and get fucking churros. But in Long Beach, there's a guy that does churros on the street.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that, like, oh shit. Like you stop, it's like $1 a churro, or I mean,
Yeah.
like $1 for 4 or some shit like that,
Yeah.
whatever. But you know, see what I'm saying? So it's like, wow, that's cool. But it's like a hustle. It's like a different hustle.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, it's all a survival tool, but it just feels like you have to come at it a little bit more dangerously when you're in California.
That's one thing I just wanted to conversate with someone who can actually talk about it, because you look on all these food pages and it's just like, oh, Texas got better tacos, Cali got better tacos. Bro, I say this, bro.
Hey, man, Austin thinks they have better tacos. You know what I mean? So, I mean, people have their opinion when it comes to
Facts, bro.
food.
Austin has the best tacos, bro. But anyway.
We'll say, though, they got some good Mexican food places, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep in mind, too, Austin, there's Chicanos in Austin, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's old neighborhoods in Austin as well. You know what I'm saying? San Antonio, man, I love San Antonio food.
Oh,
you know?
dude.
And, you know, you get down talking about Tex-Mex, bro. Like, hey, there's a time and the place for Tex-Mex, too. You know, I'll pull up to Andy's quick and eat a carne asada plate, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
I'll eat some enchiladas from Andy's any day. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this, at risk of being fucking crucified by the Texans, man. Like, not a big fan of the guisada, man. Little Dan, though, man. Do you know Little Dan from? He's originally from San Antonio, but lives out in San Diego. No. Anytime he comes and visits, though, man, he's a big guisada dude, man. Like, just I don't know, man. It's
a special occasion for us, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I get it.
Like, me and my mom will make a date to go eat carne guisada at Andy's,
you know,
and enchiladas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And again, there's a time and a place for Tex-Mex. Sometimes I just want street tacos, and I'll go get street tacos.
For sure, yeah.
You know, food stink in Texas, we eat shredded cheese and sour cream on everything. Nah, bro, that's not what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, hey, man, listen, man, I'm a firm believer of anything that's fucking, you know, Mexican food.
But yeah, I thought I'd just switch that conversation up real quick. Talk about tacos. You know what I'm saying? It's just you and I in here today. You know, again, this is finally the Chicano Boulevard podcast. We do plan on having guests, brown. We're gonna try to keep it as brown as possible. You know, if you have a brand, if we support you, we're looking at everybody, and like we do support a lot of people, and we definitely want to bring y'all on and just conversate with us. You know, tell us your story, man. We'd love to hear it.
I think a lot of it is I guess for me the importance of this thing too was an outlet to our community. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I feel like. We always invite people to come hang out with us. You know what I mean? Right? Hey, like, come kick it with us, right? I love that, dude. I love that we're not always on stage, right? We're just there with our people, with our community, man. Come dance, hang out, have a good time. You know what I mean? Fucking, you know, Lauren, Bree, you know, Rose, all these, you know, homies hanging out, messing with the DJ table and stuff like that. Like, cool, man. Like, that stuff's camaraderie. But conversations are not always... It's not always a viable option, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want you to come hang out and kick it, but like I can't always have the amount of conversation that I'd like to have. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get caught up in the bar where I get to say things that I'd like to say, and
because there's a few times where people have stopped me and been like, "Hey, man, I fuck with Chicano Boulevard. I've been waiting for this," and we get into a deep conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
We tell them why we started it.
It happened to me in San Antonio.
And man, I've been looking for this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, well, you found a home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not here to look at you sideways. We're not here to judge you, bro. Once you walk in that door, once you walk wherever we're at, like when we're doing Chicano Boulevard, hey, bro, it's all love. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
It's always going to be love.
Yeah, and I think so. Yeah, that's true. So for me, that's a big part of this thing is to just be able to for our community to feel like they could tap in with us. You know what I mean? This is where we're at. Hey, man, let us know. Let us know what you think. You know what I mean? Listen to the bullshit. What do you think we should do, right?
I
how
think,
our community wants us to intertwine with them.
It would be better than bringing that community in here with us, and we can have those conversations here. You know what I mean?
That's a true statement.
Hey, man,
Well, because that's like the point I tried to tell people when we started this thing, right? It was always like, hey, look, man, whatever fucking white people were out there doing, we do.
Yeah.
Brown people are doing it.
Yeah.
If you're a lawyer, hey man, there should be brown lawyers. You know what I mean? There's brown people doing all these things. So let's push those businesses. I might not be able to buy everything that you're selling, you know what I mean? But I could broadcast it, right? I could repost it. I could put it out there, and somebody will. Somebody's gonna be out there. Somebody's gonna be looking for it at that point in time or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's push each other, man. Let's raise each other. Let's thrive. You know,
Exactly.
And this is a good spot for that.
Let's thrive
you know?
and unite. You know what I mean?
Yes,
On some real
fool.
unity shit.
Listen,
You know?
talking again about Texas and California, that's the thing, right? Like, I'll be perfectly honest, man. You know what I mean? Like, things are changing now, but you know, there's times where you had to put like leave the bullshit at home,
Yeah.
like right. Don't bring
Yeah.
your drama if you try. I don't just I know, and hood shit it gets scary, and we don't need that,
Exactly.
And I think that's the cool thing about what we're building here is that we're able to build it unified.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey man, I don't care what's up, and I don't care what your hustle is. You know what I mean? Like, do your thing. I ain't here to judge nobody. But when you come to here, just hang out. Have a good time. Let's support each other, man.
And I think we've done a good job.
Each other.
I think we've done a good job setting that atmosphere. Like let's say Ben, for example, and Jocelyn, like they weren't a part of our circle. They weren't a part of Chicano Boulevard. These are people that just came along organically, and they, we got to know them, and they're awesome people. And you know what I'm saying, like Ben, you know what I'm saying, he was one of the first cars to pull up to Chicano Boulevard event.
Oh
right?
Yeah, man, I remember. And, man, we've been talking to him for a while.
Yeah,
man.
and I remember seeing him, and I was gonna walk up to him and shake his hand, but he must have been pissed off at the moment or something. And as I was walking up to him, I was like, man, I'll save this for another time. I'll save this for another time. But he was like, nah, man. Sometimes people just tell me I look pissed off. You know what I mean? But again, he says, man, I feel the love here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel a different vibe here, and when we started Chicano Boulevard, we didn't start it to step on no one's toes. We didn't start it to do something that would offend anyone else. We just started to express ourselves, and again to tap back into our culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our way of doing it was through music. We're DJs, but we have car guys in the organization.
I think that people just, it's funny because there's the people that know us from back in the day, right? Who understand.
Right.
There's a progression from the subcultures that we were in to the culture that we're pushing now. But then there's the people that just know us from Chicano Boulevard,
right,
or from recent times, and just don't understand that there was a progression of how we've gotten to this point, right? Like, again, we unified. No matter what the state lines had said, we unified because of our love for subcultures that we were into.
Right.
Because, we were Chicanos, and, like, you're looking for a place to fit in. And so, maybe thrash metal is your scene, or punk rock, or skinhead, or ska core, and all this
hip-hop,
other, you know what I mean?
Tejano.
Of course, all that stuff, You get into it, and because you're not really going to be able to tap into your culture, right? But as time has gone and progressed on us, we've been able to realize, hey, look, man, those skinhead buddies that I have, they're still badass, but they're still Chicanos too, dude.
Right.
Yeah, right. And so they come in and they appreciate what we do just as much as the person who's like ironing his dickies and his Charlie Brown to go to the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a cool thing that subcultures and culture together have got us to where we are now.
I think that's another thing too. Like you and I partaking in these subcultures, you know what that gave us an open mind. You know what I'm saying? Like like we move forward with an open mind in this Chicano community, right? Like there's some people who might not have ever witnessed a punk show or an underground hip hop show, and they don't know nothing about that, and to them that's weird. Well, we have, and we can vouch that there are Chicanos in these movements. You know what I mean? We're living proof of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one thing that kind of helps us out. You know what I mean?
And and this is a perfect. I guess segue, as they say, to really help people understand, because maybe they don't understand how our events progress and why they progress the way that they do, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's look at Funky Solistic, I guess, kind of speaks for itself, right?
Mm.
Like, it's a Sunday kickback. You come out, you hang out, it's a Sunday family thing that every brown and person of color, has ever experienced, right? You hang out with your family and friends
Shout
on
out
Sunday.
Rabbit's got the gun.
Right, shout out
Nate.
Rabbits for
shout
sure.
Out Ian.
Right, but fuck, man, now I forgot where I was going with it, man.
Funky Solistic. It's a community.
Oh, okay. No, okay. The explanation of the progression of the events, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's easy to explain. But like the '90s warehouse party, right? We represent that because like I was the party crew guy, and you had went to things back in the day where we were tied into graffiti and house music, and so there's that aspect. But we're here to say Chicanos were there. Like, you know what I mean?
This is
like,
some 90s shit, right? Like,
you
as a teenager in the 90s were going to warehouses full of Chicano party crews, and I was going to warehouses in Houston full of Chicanos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that was, from Texas to Cali, and that was an era of Chicanismo. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so the people are just not realized, you know what I mean? And then like take our current thing, right? Like the fucking, the Level Terrace apart event, like
the Chicano Goth Night.
Yeah, because we're telling people that like, it was like for a couple years ago, you know what I mean? Like when Los Gas out in Cali was really getting going, everybody was talking about goth foods and shit like that. And that's because, there were always these guys.
Yeah.
And girls and however you identify, of course. Like, there was these people who were coming up and that's what they listened to, but they were still like Chicanos. And so like, they were rocking their little Vans and black shirt crew, flannels and shit,
One thing we pointed out is, hey, this one's dedicated to our older sisters, our older brothers, our cousin, our homie who might not have been,
the freaks,
in Dickies, but he was out there going to goth nights, playing music, listening to this, the Smiths, the Cure, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Because again, like I was this fucking skater kid, right? So like all this music was all intertwined. You know what I mean? Butthole Surfers, led you into sounds that were fucking like the Cure, and then the Cure just led you into everything else that you needed. You know what I mean? And the Smiths and everything. Shit, Morrissey was huge when I was in high school, man. The fucking Chicanos with the fucking bomber jackets and the Doc Martens.
The Rebels.
Yeah, but like it was funny because it was for us. It was like a progression of where the Rebels ended up.
Yeah,
because I was a Rebel dude, right? But like before them, it was just these like Morrissey lovers and shit,
Yeah, you even got Chicanos that are like into rockabilly, Chicanos that are into ska. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we do everything, but what we wanted to do first is plant our seeds within the Chicano community, celebrating Chicano culture.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So the plan was, hey, let's do this. Let's push the culture, Chicano culture. And then as time goes on, we'll start pushing out to other subgenres that Chicanos participate in.
Yeah. I mean? Of course, it was a natural, because that was what it was, right? Like that was like, man, I tell everybody, you were. I don't think that people realize it was this like you spinning soul records, right? Like, okay, cool. Like Isaac has this soul collection. Me as a dancer would go and to these soul nights that you would do, and I would do these soul nights in Austin and San Antonio, and and then it was me really just saying, hey, look, dude, I got these funk records. This is what soul and funk was really what me growing up on Whittier Boulevard, or me growing up in my high school years in the outskirts of the IE. And still going to lowrider car shows and seeing these bands. I mean, man, I'd seen like Rick James after he got out of prison and shit. He came to do a show. You know what I mean? Like just great bands, lowrider cars. This is what tied our communities together, black and brown communities together. And Chicanos were just really flourishing at that time. Yeah. And that's the music that brought it, right? That was the music that brought it all together. So it was very easy for us to say, hey, look, oldies and funk, let's present it. You know what I mean? We did the oldies and coldies night, and boom, we started rocking and rolling from there.
I will say this. I think right now is a dope time for Chicanos, right?
Yeah. Through brown people in general.
Brown people in general. But you got all these food pages on social media. You got all these Netflix series, Hulu series.
Food's Gone Wild, bro.
That are fun. Shout out to Food's Gone Wild, man. They bust the door open and they're fucking, they got all the they deserve all the success. Everything,
dude. They've really
that they're
tied
doing is dope.
They've really
I said
tied
this
the
before.
community together.
Fools Gone Wild brings raza together more than any Hispanic politician. You know
dude,
what I mean?
No shit. Because again, dude, it's funny the way that they market, dude. Because it'll be like they'll post something, and some dude on the right side of the fucking thing will be like, like, hey, dude, like, they never said how they felt or what one way or another. They just posted a video, and you can form your own opinion of what you think.
Right.
Right? It's like people assume because it says Fools Gone Wild and it's a fucking brown, influence page that automatically it's this left-wing rebel shit, which for us, it is. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that they're just putting out there what needs to be highlighted, one way or another. Why are these white dudes in Orange County yelling at brown people who have been there all their lives?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or even if they're illegal, you know what I mean? These are still brown people, man. Like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
You know? I don't give a shit where you bought your house. You know what I mean? These lands are not yours.
Yeah, I just again,
step
man,
accordingly. Tread lightly.
Again, man, I love everything that's going on right now. I love that, Houston's looking good. You know what I mean? There's not just Chicano Boulevard here. We have all kind of other things going on in the city. You know what I mean? One of the most diverse cities in the country. Spread out, but we make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude,
spread out with no sidewalks. 120 degrees with humidity, but we make it work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this city's good to us, right?
Man, I love this city, man. It's really, I tell everybody, it's really taking care of me. It's taking care of my family members. It's taking care of my adopted family and friends. You know what I mean? The friends that I've made here are friends that I'll hold forever. You know what I mean?
You ready to get that? You ready to trade that hat in for an Astros hat or what?
Hey man, relax.
Come on, bro.
Relax.
Hey, you just said it, bro. You just had a moment, man. And
listen, it's so funny, dude. I had a conversation with Lily about that the other day, though. You know what I mean? It's a really crazy thing for me because everybody knows me as this Cali dude, right? Like, oh, that's Rob, man. He's from Cali. But like, dude, I've lived in I've been back since 2013, right? But I did live here, like you remember when we first met, like 2007, 2009, right? So yeah, I'm attached to Cali culture, but like I've lived here. Like this is my adopted city, right? So it's like it's difficult for me. But I mean, dude, how can I put on the Astros hat?
Come on, bro. Hey, you got to do it, bro. Hey, man.
Hey, dude, I love the Dynamo, dude. I love the Dynamo. No. I've done, hey, Dynamo. That's all I gotta say.
Before the end of the year's over.
Shout out El Batallón, though, man. I love you guys.
Yeah, shout out all the homies, man. Again, man, the homies. Everyone who pulls up and supports, man. Shout out to all of y'all, because, like we say, we can throw these events, but it's everyone who comes out, the people who come out, the car clubs, the people that come walking on bikes, in stock cars. Our events are for everybody, but you guys are the ones who bring our events to life. Excuse me.
What's the time? Where we at on time? We're good?
We're about to be closing it up soon.
Oh, we're about to be.
But, back to what I was saying, all these people that come out, they're the ones who bring these events to life. You know what I mean?
Like I said earlier, man.
We wave that Chicano Boulevard flag, and if they come out and they have a good time and they come back, man, that means so much to us. You know what I mean?
Dude, even when we, when I went to San Antonio and dude, it's just, without the community and the love of the people out there to really support what we're doing and like I said, just stand behind us and come support. Man, it means the world.
Right.
I mean, I try. I hope that you guys know I try to talk to everybody, shake everybody's hand that that I can, that I see that they come back.
Right.
They're repeat supporters.
Yeah.
They really fuck with what we're doing. And then of course all the and then we have our community of regulars.
Yeah, shout out to all the Chicano Boulevard members that aren't here right now. We got
man, the family.
David, Mr. Simplify,
Yeah.
C's, Ben and Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Midnight Rose.
Yeah.
Midnight Rose. Shout out to them. They couldn't be here today, but we're gonna have them on.
Yeah, no,
we're gonna have
we'll bring everybody
some more people from the community on. We're looking forward to keeping this growing.
This is just the beginning, man.
It's just getting started.
The beginning.
Again, shout out to all the people who come out to the events. Shout out to all the promoters we work with, all the venues, all the community leaders we work with. Again, man, you guys inspire us, and we just can't wait to continue this relationship with y'all. And again, this is the Chicano Boulevard podcast. We're here sipping on the funky solistic Chicano lager from Bad Astronaut. Y'all hit them up.
Hey, so what are we doing these things monthly or what?
I think we'll be doing them a month for now.
Yeah, that sounds good. So hopefully you guys come back next month and really tap in with us. You know what I mean? We love you guys. Our community. Yeah. I tell you what, man, y'all motherfuckers bring me to tears every time I really, no, because I go out, I'll step out, you know what I mean? I'll step away, take a step back, and really try to soak up, you know what I mean? I don't want to forget these moments, you know what I mean? And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing when we do eating, and not just the funkies, man. Like, it's like when we did the Cholo Goth thing,
right.
You know what I mean? When we did the 90s warehouse party thing, like the culture resonating through the people, it's a beautiful thing to sit back and watch, man. I love our community, man.
I think those are some good final words right there.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man.
So, hey, guys, thank y'all for tuning in, checking us out. Chicano Boulevard podcast. We're broadcasting live from 2nd Ward off of Navigation.
Navigation.
Let's go. Anyways, I'm Mr. Simmerdown.
I'm Firme Funk.
We out.